Hey class, this is a start of Unit 4, second quarter. We made it so far. So we're going to start out with classifying and evaluating polynomial functions. So I started by writing down the definitions first so you didn't have to listen to me write down every word, and I figured you could just pause it and get these definitions down. So polynomials are expressions that have terms like the quadratic functions we've been working with, and they're considered polynomials when the terms have real number coefficients and whole number exponents. And then we have the degree, and that degree of the polynomial is defined by its largest exponent. So we'll talk more about that as well. The leading coefficient is, well, first of all, a coefficient is a number in front of the variable. The leading coefficient is the coefficient that is in front of the term with the highest exponent. So usually that's our A value. It's the one out in front. Our constant term is the number without a variable. And we say it's in standard form when you write the expression in descending order of exponents. So basically you write the highest exponent to the lowest. So take a minute, pause it, and get those definitions down. So here's an example of a polynomial. I know it's a polynomial because it has real number coefficients, 3, 2, and 4, and then whole number exponents like 2, 3, and an exponent of 1 at the end here. So it is a polynomial. If I want to write this polynomial in standard form, it's, remember f of x is the same thing as y equals, you write from highest exponent to lowest. So negative 2x cubed would come first, and then plus 3x squared, and then plus 4x. The leading coefficient is the coefficient in front of the term with the highest exponent, so it would be the negative 2. The leading coefficient is also out front when it's written in standard form. And the degree is degree of 3 because that's the highest exponent. Now, certain degrees like this have special names. So this one's actually called a cubic, and we'll define them more as we go here. So classifying by degree, a degree of 0 is just a constant term. An example would be like 5, no variable. First degree is linear. You might remember the mx plus b equations, so anything like that. Like 4x, that's a linear term. They make lines. Degree of 2, that's what we've been working with more recently. Those are our quadratics. Quadratic is the name for second degree polynomials. That's like the x squareds. Or in the general form, the ax squared plus bx plus c. Third degree is called cubic. That's anything with a cube degree, x to the third power. Fourth degree we call quartic sometimes, or a lot of times these two are just called polynomials. Oh wait. Nope, that's the next one. This is quartic, degree of 4. And then fifth degree or higher, you say like just nth degree. So if it's fifth degree, you would just call it a fifth degree polynomial. If it was like x to the 9th, you'd say 9th degree polynomial. If it was x to the 12th, you'd say 12th degree polynomial, etc. So constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, x to the 4th, and then nth degree, anything bigger than that. Classifying by number of terms. So you're going to have to think of your suffix like word meanings. One term is a monomial because mono means one. So they all have the nomial part, polynomial. So monomial is one term. So that's like y equals 3x squared, one term. Two terms, like a bicycle has two wheels, is a binomial. And that is like two terms, 3x squared plus 6. Three terms, like a tricycle has three wheels, it is a trinomial. So like y equals 3x squared plus 6x plus 5, three terms, trinomial. Four terms or higher, we just call these polynomials. Sometimes you hear quadrinomial, but very rarely do they actually use that term for four terms, quadrinomial. So anything more than four terms. So decide whether it's a polynomial and then write it in standard form, which means highest exponent to lowest. State the degree means what's the highest exponent. Classify by degree is like constant, linear, cubic, quartic, etc. Classify by number of terms is the names by binomial, monomial, or trinomial. And state the leading coefficient. So first, in order to be a polynomial, it has to have real number coefficients and whole number exponents. And technically, a -2 is an integer, but it is not a whole number. A whole number includes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So this one is not a polynomial. Our next one, B, is a polynomial. A decimal is a real number, so no I values. We have whole number exponents, so we're good. So to write it in standard form would be the highest exponent, x to the fourth, would come first, then negative 0.08 x cubed, then minus 5. So it would have a degree of 4, which would be called a quartic, and then it would be a quartic trinomial because it has a degree of 4 and it has three terms, x to the fourth, 8x cubed, and 5. So I guess it'd be worth noting that the terms are separated by addition and subtraction. So each term separated here by subtracting. So three terms, quadratic trinomial. C is also a polynomial, even though it has a square root of 5. That's irrational, but it's a real number, so the coefficients are all real. And then the exponents are 1, 4, and 2, which are all whole numbers. So it is a polynomial. To be written in standard form, it'd be the square root of 5x to the fourth, and then 2x squared, then minus x, then minus 7. So it has four terms, and it does have a degree of 4, so we would call this a quartic polynomial. It has a degree of 4 again. That's where I get the quartic from 2. Oh, the leading coefficient, that would be the square root of 5 in this one. The last one, the leading coefficient would be 1 because there's a 1 in front of the x to the fourth. And number of terms, okay, polynomial. So I think I covered it all. What is the value of f of x equals negative 5x to the fourth minus 2x to the third minus 7x squared plus 2x minus 3 when x equals negative 1? So I'm going to plug in f of negative 1. So that means you replace every x with a -1. Whoops. Okay, let's see if I can do this mental math at 10 o'clock at night. So -5 and -1 to the 4th would just be 1, so -5. -1 cubed would be -1 times -2, so it would be +2. -1 squared would be +1 times 7, so -7. And then 2 times -1 would be -2 minus 3. Then from left to right, we got -3 minus 7 would be -10, -12, -15. If you double check my math on that, I will not be offended. So evaluating a function means to plug in that value. Later on in this unit, we'll find kind of a neat trick to plugging in values like this that works out a little bit easier. But that's it for today. So you do need to memorize the two tables that I have here, classified by degree and classified by the number of terms. So make yourself some flashcards or whatever you need to do to know the names by degree and names by number of terms. Thanks for watching.